Thank you to Simthic, accessible via sim.gg for the weapon stats used in making this video. Link in the description. Hello, this is yet another entry into a series I've been calling Final Meta, an exploration into the infantry weapons in Battlefield 5 following its final content release. This video covers the two specialist LMGs, the Chauchat and the Lewis Gun. These are the LMGs that are notably unique and are essentially in categories of their own. The Lewis Gun is a mobile suppressive fire weapon, probably the only LMG in Battlefield 5 that fits the more conventionally understood tactical role of an LMG. The Chauchat, on the other hand, functions more as a pseudo-DMR, with its significantly higher damage per shot values and bottom ranking rate of fire, and select fire mode. My combat role suggestion for these guns differs depending on which of these you pick. The Lewis Gun works better with the machine gunner combat role. Because of its larger magazine, the machine gunner combat role synergizes well with it, as you'll be able to suppress targets behind cover using the large magazine with long bursts and mark them for your team. On the other hand, the Chauchat works better with the engineer combat role, as the long-range damage capabilities of the weapon and fairly decent ammo reliability from its high kill capacity permit it to work well among the rest of your team, placing you in a closer proximity to friendly vehicles and emplacements for you to repair. And if you do find yourself in a situation where a heavy stationary weapon or gun on a vehicle would provide you a tactical advantage, you will be able to more fully take advantage of them with the reduced heat generation per shot, giving you an effective tool that differentiates from your slower firing primary. My sight suggestion for the Chauchat is a 3x scope. Because of the weapon's higher damage overall and slow firing rate, paired with the ability to both set up its bipod or go into semi-auto mode, the weapon benefits a lot from higher zoomed optics. The iron sights, on the other hand, are what I suggest for the Lewis Gun. Maximizing the aim speed is more important than zoom in order to fully take advantage of the primary build I'm going to advise. That said, the alternative build instead goes better with a 3x scope, and the irons on the Lewis Gun are simplified anti-air sights, so they provide a perfectly clear sight picture. My suggested gadgets for the Chauchat are the sticky grenade, ammo crate, and AT pistol. The Chauchat is generally a weapon you want to keep your distance with. Rushing towards the enemy is generally not advised. This will mean you will generally be more distant from vehicles more often as well. As a consequence, you will want longer reach in your anti-tank weaponry rather than outright damage per second. With the Lewis Gun, on the other hand, you will want a rusher's arsenal. I advise the Type 99 mines, ammo crate, and lunge mine. These maximize your damage potential to tanks, but require you to get in closer. Luckily, the super sprint ability that comes with the lunge mine can help in closing the gap. And if you are fast enough, you should be able to toss the Type 99s onto your target immediately afterward. The tank is likely to be slow moving at this point, so assuming you survive, you should be able to place an ammo box down to retrieve an additional lunge mine to finish it off, assuming a medium or light tank. If you use the alternative build I will be suggesting for the Lewis Gun, my advised gadgets are the same as the Chauchat's in that case. And further, in close quarters maps like Al Marj Encampment and Operation Underground, anti-vehicle weaponry is notably less important. For the Chauchat, I advise the incendiary grenade, ammo crate, and AP mine. Incendiary grenade and AP mines can both cover for the Chauchat's long reloads and permit you to potentially control your long-ranged engagements by preventing the enemy from rushing through a corridor, or at least damaging them if they decide to do so anyway. For the Lewis Gun's infantry map build, I advise impact grenade, ammo crate, and lunge mine. Use the impact grenade to quickly deal damage to targets that you've marked with suppression that are behind cover, and use the lunge mine super sprint to aggressively break through enemy lines. If you happen to land a kill with it, all the better of course, but you really want to focus on using it to achieve flanks, as the lunge mine can be awkward when used against infantry. My suggested sidearm for the Lewis Gun is the Type 94. The Lewis Gun largely outperforms all of the pistols at really any range. The only real use a pistol has for the Lewis gun is for the very rare instance you will need an emergency sidearm, and the Type 94's damage model matches well with the Lewis gun, and fast deploy time both make it a good choice. Another option I considered was the well rod, simply because of its uniqueness as a utility. But since you really should use the Lewis gun aggressively rather than worry about flanking, it's a questionable and impractical option, at best. For the Chauchat, an emergency sidearm might be a little more frequently needed, but the sidearm that matches its damage model the best is the 1911 Suppressed. Most of the M1911's other strengths, its suppressor and top-of-the-line ammo reliability, are simply icing on the cake. This damage model is also the reason I advised the knife for the Chauchat, which meshes well with both the primary itself and the sidearm I just suggested, all three of them killing in 3 hits in close range. And of course, being able to assassinate more easily in closer ranges is a fairly big benefit. For the Lewis gun, my advised melee weapon is the hand tool. Hand tool's damage model works well with most weapons' existing damage models, being that they provide a one-hit finisher in close range if you've landed a headshot or 2 body shots. The standard build for the Lewis gun, with its upgrade tree, is all left side, resulting in quick aim, slings and swivels, extended magazine, and recoil buffer. This results in a hyper-aggressive LMG that can act as an excellent frontline fighter. In fact, it's the only LMG in Battlefield 5 that permits you to combine both quick aim and slings and swivels at the same time. And with the extended magazine, needing to worry about reloading will be a rare issue. The alternative build I however suggest is right to right, left, turning the Lewis gun into a long-range big magazine weapon that can work fairly well to suppress the enemy from afar, acting in a more supportive role. You might notice that in both cases I suggest the recoil buffer. This is because while the improved bipod would result in superior accuracy, I do not advise using any of the LMGs in a particularly stationary tactic outside of simply momentarily standing still to fire in a burst. Waiting for the bipod to be properly set up is generally a losing strategy if you are playing aggressively. Something I really advise for the Lewis gun regardless of the build or your positioning. For the Chauchat, you should go all right side, resulting in quick aim, ported barrel, barrel bedding, and recoil buffer, emphasizing its role as a DMR by maximizing its overall accuracy. In terms of general tactical advice, the Chauchat should stay in semi-automatic mode 90% of the time you use it, and you should aim for headshots at longer ranges, standing still to maximize accuracy. Don't be afraid, however, to fire fairly rapidly and dump your magazine into the enemy. Its reloads might be very long, but the kill capacity is high enough and the ranges you will find yourself engaging in long enough that it won't likely matter too much. If you are defending a point, set up shop somewhere with the bipod and flip back to full auto mode and aim for headshots if someone enters your firing lane. For the Lewis gun, the sheer aggressive playstyle you can achieve with it should make you want to constantly be pushing against the enemy. Even if your team has most of the points, the Lewis gun will simply always be best utilized, pushing into the enemy territory because of its fast ADS and fast sprint recovery time with its primary build, combined with its massive magazine regardless of build. Despite the Chauchat advised rules in this video, the time to kill for this gun is actually fairly slow. The Chauchat in fact has the slowest kill times among LMGs across longer ranges. However, it gains a lot from a single headshot in close range, enabling a 2-shot kill. And at longer ranges, a headshot will similarly reduce kill times. And these headshots will be very achievable with semi-auto mode and the recoil buffer upgrade combined. The Lewis gun's time to kill while not slow, is unimpressive. But the fact that it has such fast handling times in combination with rushing, and its ability to pre-fire because of its large magazine, will make the weapon feel like it's a faster killer than it technically is. It's also accurate enough that headshots are a viable way to further reduce the time to kill, though it's not a necessity. Landing shots on a target in a heated gun battle more immediately and quickly will take precedence over a more carefully aimed headshot. In conclusion, these LMGs are actually fairly different from each other, but because of their noticeably unique features, do not easily fit into the other more crowded categories of LMGs. They are essentially weapons you use when you are not interested in the more conventional LMG options found in the game and want to play with more unique abilities. In this sense, they can both have the potential to surprise the enemy, which may have more humdrum expectations for the support class. Thank you for watching my video to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications.